Hey, what's going on? Ben Atkins here with you, and welcome to Ad Lab Live. In this particular special session, we're going to be going through gym marketing, and today you're getting an inside view of something we're in the process of building. I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. This is not something that I have a lot of experience with gyms. I have a lot of experience doing this with local businesses. I've done some of this with gyms, but never quite like this. And what you're getting today is you're going to see the process and you're going to see what we've done so far, which has been very minimal. It's been a very, recent endeavor. But I'm going to show you what we built and how we actually put this together. So number one, if you guys could do me a real quick favor, everybody that's here with us live, if you're watching the replay later, cool. But everybody that's here with us live, let me know. Can you see the screen and you can see this squeeze page? If you can see that on your screen right now, let me know that it's there and cool. Okay, so I'm going to sort of walk you through the steps of what we've put together, what we're trying to accomplish, and what's wrong with this, what's right with it, what's wrong with it, results so far, and sort of run you through everything and give you an idea of what we're doing. So what's the major goal here? Let's get started with that. What are we trying to accomplish? Well, we're trying to build a model. Okay, so I'm not just in this to build something to help one local gym, which I think it's great to help one local gym, but I'm in this to build a model. And what we're working on is a model of how we can get people into this particular gym to take a trial. I have a firm belief that this particular gym that we're working with has good people inside because of the particular business that we're doing is sort of a franchise. Now, this is what's really interesting about this franchise. How many of you would like to, before I get to that, how many of you would like to get business with a business that has a franchise type model? That way you could sort of explode what you're doing really quickly. Yeah. So what was particularly interesting about this particular gym is this is a franchise that's all over the place, but it's not so big at this point that it was a lot of red tape for us to get through to one particular gym. So what we were able to do is we were able to work with one particular member of this franchise, and we wanted to build something that sort of worked around their model so that if it worked and we could get it to work, not only would we be able to help them year-round with things, but we'd be able to build models that we could take out to the franchise and help them with things. So that's sort of the thing. Now, the business that we're actually working with is a local, it's Paragould, Arkansas, and great people, and it's an Anytime Fitness. And so some of you have an Anytime Fitness in your city, and some of you don't. That's okay. Like I said, it's a smaller franchise that's growing pretty rapidly. So what we're doing is we're trying to get people into their gym. And what we're doing is a variation of a funnel that I ran years ago. But I'm going to tell you sort of the good, the bad, and the ugly with this thing and give you sort of what we've done so far. So is it cool that I show you all the pieces of this funnel? And if you have a question about something as I go, you interrupt me. Is that we good on the format? So good. Yeah, I'm just going to talk. I'm going to show you all these pieces, and then you interrupt me as I go, and then we'll do pretty well with that. Like I said, real loose with this, and hopefully you guys like this format. So sort of what we're doing is we want to target people that want to go to the gym. They want to make a change, and they're looking for a good deal to get started because, they've got options, and they need to know that there's something close to them that makes them feel like at home. So the idea for this is we just want to get people through the door. We feel as if we can get people through the door the first time and we can stack the value for them and give them an easy way to go in the first time, that once they get in, this particular business will be able to do a good job of keeping them in after those initial 2 weeks. So here's what the page basically looks like. Free 14-day pass to Anytime Fitness Paragould and a free 60-minute personal training session with one of our amazing trainers. Okay, so super, super simple. We get that in there, and then we've got a few features. Try it for 14 days, super easy, no commitment. Free 60-minute training session, custom designed workout for your body type, 24-hour gym access, 24-hour tanning access. So just some features. Now, as I get into this, I'm going to tell you guys some things that I want to change as we get done. But can you guys see what we're trying to accomplish here right away? Just giving them a super big benefit here, and then giving them some things underneath that sort of fit into this master thing. Now, over here, we've got a picture. We've got something to really make it feel more local, because it is. We want them to think this is not some national ad. This is local business running this ad, because people respond to that. And here's some actual trainers that work at Anytime Fitness in Paragould, Arkansas. Now, right below that, we've got a place that they can click, and they can click and put in their email address that pops down. Super easy, opt in. You guys have seen this before. We're running this on ClickFunnels, by the way. Now, right below this is something that I've been testing, and I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not, but I'll get into that in a minute. We talk about the things that are cool about this particular gym. So some things to sort of push people over the top. And so we've got some things that are actually at this particular gym. So all of that's written out so they can sort of see that. And then past that, we've got another place, you know, to sort of get them to opt in. And then, of course, we've got some frequently asked questions. Okay, so just a super simple setup. It's a quick, here's your offer. Here's the things that this gym has that you can go check it out. Here's a place to opt in, and here's some questions that you might ask. Okay, does everybody sort of understand what we've got busted out just on this page? And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to throw them out there. But does everybody sort of understand what we're trying to accomplish here? Yeah? Good. Good. Okay, so that's the first part. That's the opt-in page, and I'll show you the ad when we get done because that ad can have a lot of improvement to it, trust me. But I wanted to show you sort of what we got here. Okay, so we got that. Now the next thing is sort of where they land, and let me put it here. Here's where they land after. This is once they opt in, it says you're in. To claim your 2-week free pass to Anytime Fitness, along with the other goodies, follow the instructions below. And it gives them a step-by-step, okay? So it says call Anytime Fitness at 1-888. Here's your number between 8 and 6 p.m. to lock in your deal benefits. Mention this code. Show up at our location anytime set up. There you go. Super simple. That's what we've got. Now I'll show you what I think is wrong with this page in a few minutes, but the idea is they don't just passively get a code that they can use anytime. They get something that expires that they need to call to redeem. Now, here's where things get interesting. What do you think I can do to this page right away that is going to up the phone calls? That was going to up the phone calls just by adding this one thing to this page. What would be something I could add to this page that specifically helps get more people to call quicker? Click to call. Okay, timer. Absolutely. We add a timer that says this coupon code expires in, and then we give them like 48 hours, 24 hours, something like that. I'm going more towards the 48 to 36 hours that we're going to do. We're going to actually set the timer up to expire based on when they hit the page. Okay, so it's not like a certain date. It's based on when they hit the page. This is all done in ClickFunnels, which is super easy to do. So adding that timer specifically gets it there. Now, another thing I think we should do is get rid of this frequently asked questions section, okay? And I'll show you the tracking stuff in a second, but get rid of this frequently asked questions section because they don't need it. All that I need them to focus on this page is calling this number, and you've got only this long to do it, okay? I think we're probably going to get rid of this on this page too, this frequently asked questions, just because it's too much, but I'll show you more about that, okay? Now, specifically here, where are we taking them? What does this number do? How am I tracking it? Well, I'm using a service called CallRail, and we've not run any calls through this yet. This is just sort of a new account getting started, but we've got CallRail. Now, here's what CallRail does. We're able to set up a certain phone number for this particular landing page combination. So I'm only running Facebook ads from this one, and we can split it up by Facebook ads. But what we're going to do is, what this does is when they call that number, we're able to register that there was a call, okay? Also, when they call that number, when they pick up at Anytime Fitness, which is our client, when they pick up there, what happens is there's what we call a whisper message. It says, you have a new lead from, and it tells them that the lead is coming in from our service, okay? So that gives them a little extra push that what we're doing is actually working. And by the way, what we're doing is not working yet because we've only spent like $40 to test certain things, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do from here. So before I move on, does everybody understand where we're at? Bruce says CallRail versus CallFire. Doesn't really matter, Bruce, as long as they have the specific stuff where you can track calls, you can set up new numbers, and you can go through and you can do all of these things. That's what we're looking for. Just get something that does these things. So far, does everybody understand what we've done and what we're up to? Give me a yes if so. Yeah, good. Okay, cool. So pretty simple. Now, let me show you the ad real quick. And like I said, none of this has been overly effective so far because we did a very tiny test in a very busy time. Here's the ad. Now, if you've been in Ad Lab for more than 5 seconds, you see some very familiar things about this ad. Am I running this ad from the Facebook page of Anytime Fitness right now? No. We're running it from a Facebook page that looks like a person, okay? And when you look at this post, it looks like someone found a deal and shared the deal themselves. So they've got this thing, cool, and they shared the deal themselves, okay? So we ran this ad, and we spent 35 bucks, and we had 69 people click over to the link. Who wants to do the math on that for me? 35 bucks spent, 69 people actually clicked over to the page. Who wants to do the math? How much are we paying per click? Yeah, about 50 cents, right? About 50 cents a click. Not too bad to get started, not where I want to end up living forever, but not too bad to get started. You know what I would have done when I was a chiropractor if I knew that I could get in front of people for 50 cents and put something that they were interested in front of them? I mean, like, that's a good spend of money compared to most of the things that you're doing to advertise locally. So that's what we've got. Now with this, I think we ended up getting out of the gates 16 to 20 opt-ins, something like that. It wasn't anything amazing, but it wasn't terrible for the amount of clicks that we sent initially, right? So we got that, we put it out there, and that's what we started with. Now, what could I do to this particular ad based on the stuff that you know inside of Ad Lab to get even more engagement, more people? Like, the headline could have been better. I could have put a face on this ad, which I'm going to do as we sort of tweak this out. There's a lot of really easy things that I could do that would get more attention to this stuff here, okay? So super easy. Sort of get where I'm going with this, though? Is it getting engagement? No, I don't put the tracking number on the ad. Reason being is I want the email address. I want the email address. I don't want a bunch of people calling the tracking number right out of the gate, and you can test it, but I don't want a bunch of people calling out the tracking number. Also, Facebook gets a little wonky about you putting phone numbers right in your ads. The reason they don't like that is why. Why do you think Facebook doesn't like so much you throwing a phone number in their ad? Because it's going to cause people to not click on the ad, which means Facebook doesn't get paid. Okay, so just a couple things to watch out for there. Okay, and you're probably going to get a disapproval on some of those things, even if you are around the rules. So we've got that. Now, right out of the gate, we are tweaking this. Now, let me sort of tell you what we've got. Out of 16 to 20 opt-ins, I'm not incredibly displeased with that, considering we sent about 70 people. That's not terrible to start. We can get rid of that stuff later. What I am concerned about is that we're not getting any calls yet out of those 16 to 20 people. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think we're not getting many calls so far? And once I explain a little more of what's going on, you'll know exactly why. What do most people do when they see this ad and they opt in? Do you think most people are busy doing something else? Do you think that most people are ready to pick up the phone and call when they initially see this ad? What do you think? Absolutely not. No, they're absolutely not ready to pick up the phone and call when they see this ad. So, what do we do about that? What do we do about that? What do we do? What we want to do is we want to set something up so that we actually can jump in and hit them up, okay? In a time that's more convenient for them to call. So here's what we're going to be doing in the next little bit to get that up, okay? And this is what we're doing. I'm going to build an autoresponder sequence because we're putting these people in active campaign, but I'm going to build an autoresponder sequence, an active campaign. And what this autoresponder sequence is going to do is for the next 5 days or so, we are going to have what we call a countdown sequence. Write that down. We're going to have a countdown sequence. So that countdown sequence is going to hit them up with the phone number, and it's probably going to be a different phone number than the one that we have on this page. Why would we have a different phone number in the email sequence versus the one that's on this page? What do you think? Why would I do that? Because I want to track the leads that come from the emails. I want to know where is the heavy lifting coming from? Is it the email sequence or is it the page? Because then we can optimize that one before the other. So what happens is we start sending a sequence. The first day, pretty much I'm going to send something immediately so it lands in their inbox. Day number 2, I'm going to hit them up probably around 9-10 a.m. And then the third day, I'm probably going to hit them up around lunch. What I'm not going to do is this. I'm not going to set up an autoresponder that says, okay, well, they opted here at 3 a.m. in the morning, so we're going to send another email 24 hours later, which is how most autoresponders work. Does that make sense to everybody? You want to make sure that you have an autoresponder connected that allows you to send out an email, during peak time. So I want them to call somewhere between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So I want to, the next few days, I want to hit their email a couple different times that sort of sets them up to have a good call during one of those times. Does that make sense to everybody? Does that make sense to everybody before I move on? So I'm going to set up an autoresponder where we are going to hit them up like at a 9 a.m. and then around 11 a.m., 11:30, somewhere around there. But every day I'm going to make sure that they realize their coupon code is going to be expiring by the end of the email sequence. And at the end of the email sequence, we're going to really ramp up that scarcity that says this is your last chance. Okay, so like on day 4, we'll send them a few emails throughout the day letting them know it's their last chance to call. Does everybody understand what we're doing? So we don't have the email sequence built in like that yet. That's the next task that we're doing. Now, I know what a few of you are thinking. A few of you are sitting there thinking, Atkins, why didn't you get this email sequence built in from the very get-go? Who's thinking that? Just say yes. Don't feel bad. Why didn't you have this email sequence in the beginning? Here's what I didn't want to do. Here's what I didn't want to do. If the page that you're looking at right here didn't convert at all, I didn't want to have wasted a bunch of time putting together an email sequence for a page that didn't convert. The only thing I needed to know in the beginning is, can I put the ad up? Can I get people to the opt-in page? Can I get them to click on the ad from Facebook? Can I get them to the page? And can I get them to put in their email address? Do you think I care right away whether or not they're calling the number? Does anybody here think I care whether they're calling the number? I don't right away. I can get them to call the number later. As long as that damn page converts. So all I need to know is that the ad gets them interested. That's number 1. Number 2, that they opted in once they got to the page. As long as those things are true, guess what? I can optimize my funnel from there. Where so many people screw this up, and listen, I used to be this way, so I can dog on it all that I want. Where so many people mess up is they do all this work for nothing, and then they've got pieces of their funnel that are messed up. So right now, where is our funnel breaking? Of course, we can optimize for cost. We can make the ad better. We can make the page better. But right now, where is the funnel breaking? What do you think? They're not calling, are they? They're not calling. They're opting in. They're opting in. I'm getting opt-ins on the page, but they're not calling. And really the end goal of this is for me to get them to call. So now I can focus my attention less on tweaking the ad right away. I can focus less of my attention on tweaking the opt-in page, on the ad, all those things I focus less attention on, because what is the most important thing that I need to optimize first? Well, I got to fix where the funnel's actually broken. Now, what happens the second that I start doing something to get phone calls to that number? What happens the second I start getting phone calls to that number? Then I'm getting results. I can go back and optimize and test each of the pieces. So I can go back to this Facebook ad that I'm not real happy with, and I can make a better ad. But right now, why would I spend my time making a better ad to get better conversion on the ad if I'm not hitting my end goal? First, I just wanted to make sure the ad was good. It's good enough to get people to the page. Second, I just want to make sure that people are getting to this page and opting in. Third, I want to make sure people are calling the number. Right now, they're not calling the number, but the other stuff works. Okay? Now, one of the things is, do I install a pixel from the beginning or wait for optimization? No. I personally am not going to go through the trouble of setting up a pixel or any of those things in the beginning, because I want to get the page up and know if we have interest. Because what happens if we don't have interest? Am I ever going to get anybody to pick up the phone and call the number if I can't even get someone to click on the ad? Nope. Am I ever going to get anybody to pick up the phone and call if I can't get someone to opt in to this page? No. So, one of the big things that I wanted to get across today, does everybody understand what you do to make sure that you're getting the most important things done? What is the only thing that needed to happen first? Well, I needed a page with an offer, and then I needed an ad to send traffic. Our end goal is not getting email opt-ins. Our end goal is getting phone calls to the business. But I got to have this other stuff up and running first. And while we're getting data in, we're learning something. How many of you get stuck in guess mode? I'm raising my hand because I do sometimes still too. How many of you, when you're building a funnel, you get stuck thinking about what people are going to do? Now, there's a time for that. There's a time for guessing how this offer should look. But what's the only thing that's actually going to tell you the real deal behind whether this page is going to convert and whether they're going to actually pick the phone up and call? What's the only thing that's actually going to do it? Traffic. Until you have run real traffic, and have I even, like, honestly, have I even run enough traffic to have even good numbers so far? No. No. I've not run even close to enough traffic to get good numbers so far. I actually stopped the ad early because I wanted you guys to sort of see this before I moved on to the next step. And then, by the way, if you'd like updates on this, I can give you updates. But does everybody sort of understand where we're at so far and what we need to do in the future? So we're going to get that email sequence in place to try to drive more phone calls. If we're not driving more phone calls from that, where's the funnel broken? See what I'm saying? Spend your time figuring out when the funnel is broken. What is our end goal here? Our end goal is to do what? Our end goal is to get people to pick the phone up and talk to the people at Anytime Fitness to take that trial, okay? Once we accomplish that, then we go back and sweep through our funnel to optimize. But how many of you get stuck optimizing before you've actually got anybody all the way through the funnel? Okay? Now there's a right time to do that, and let me repeat that. If nobody was clicking the ad, I'd have to optimize the ad because I couldn't optimize anything else. But do you see even how a little bit of traffic tells me where we have a problem? By the way, to get some good numbers, I want at least 300 clicks. Ideally 1,000, but you can make some assumptions at 300. So goal number one, I'm going to start this ad back up today. This ad's going back up the second I get off this call, and we start getting more numbers as I'm writing this autoresponder sequence as we're getting calls, because I like testing to real traffic. Make sense? Cool. So far, is everybody understanding? What questions do you have? Feel free to fire them my way, by the way. But what questions do you have about this particular funnel? Curious with relevant score on this ad. Not sure, haven't looked. I haven't looked yet. I'd have to go in there and take a look. I don't focus too much on that right away. What I'm focusing on is anybody interested at all? Is anybody interested at all? And this was about a $5 spend, $5 to $10 spend a day. It was ran for 8 days, $35 spent, so there's the math. What I'm looking for here is real people stuff. Real people stuff. Facebook stuff I can do later. But I put this ad out there. People were seeing it. Were they responding? And that's a big deal to me. Once I know they're responding, we're there. So how much are you charging the client for this campaign? This one was real funny because I just told them, hey, listen, can we build a model and you can pay us later? And I'll do the initial ad spend on this if you'll let me use it as a case study for my marketing buddies. So I let this one out for this company. I was like, hey, can we use your logos, things like that, and sort of experiment on you. We're good. No, I don't set them up a ClickFunnels account. I do everything internally. Why? Let's get to that. Why would I not set them up a ClickFunnels account? What happens when this starts working? When this starts working, you want control. You want to be able to turn the faucet on or off. If you don't get paid, you want to be able to turn the faucet off or change it to a different client. Okay? So that's why. Good question. So this concept of using a Facebook profile that looks like a person is something covered in AdLab. Yeah, and Bob, if you want something that's like a little more broken down, you guys get access to something called our foolproof Facebook ad formula. If that's not in your dashboard, hit up our support. They'll get it for you, and you can sort of see how I do it this way. Okay. Good, good, good. So, would you like to know a few things that I think I'm going to have to tweak when I get to it? Like I said, right now, all I care about is the autoresponder sequence because that's what's going to get the phone calls in my head. But would you like to know some things as I go through this funnel that I think I'm going to have to test against each other? Yeah? So number one, I got to tweak this ad a little bit. I think we can have a better call to action. I think we can have a better picture here. I think we can do a lot of things with the ad. And I'll test the crap out of the ad, okay? Another thing that I think we can do is see how this page is very elaborate and there's a lot of information on it. I want to test out something that's almost this simple, like a quick little headline and maybe some feature benefits, but that's it, and maybe the logo of the gym. I'm not saying that it's going to do better, but as we all know, sometimes when you take information off the page, it gets them there, okay? And I could put a lot of this stuff on the next page, so on this page to get them more excited to call. But I think sometimes we just put too much on our landing pages and they get overwhelmed, and that keeps them from opting in. When something like this, super simple, gets them to opt in for the free thing, and then we get them even more excited on the other end, and now we have an email address to market to. So those are a couple things that I think that we need to sort of test out that I think could be an absolute big deal. You know why I like starting, and this is so funny, you guys are going to laugh at this. You know why I like starting with a page like this? And it's so dumb, the reason I like starting with a page like this. I like starting with a page like this because your clients fall in love with this kind of page. They're not going to fall in love with a page that looks like this as quickly. And so when they want to see, there's certain things that a potential client, even if they're not paying you, want to see because you're representing their brand. You show them something that's a little more like this, they're like, oh, it looks like a website. They get it. When they go, oh, you can split test against something like this. And in the end, when you come back to them and say, we're actually getting better results from this, they don't care as long as they're getting those phone calls. Okay? So just some cool things for you. All right, so I try to keep it short, sweet, to the point. Did this help you guys? Did you pull something out of today that helps? I hope so. My thing is with AdLab, I don't want you guys stuck on a lot of calls with me unless you want to call on something. I want you guys in a place to where you can come in, grab something, and go implement it. So how can we stay up to date on the progress? Inside of the Facebook group, just ask me every so often, and we'll probably do return calls on this one too, because I think this is where there's a lot of value for AdLab, is you guys seeing real funnels in action and sort of the thinking behind it. I hope you guys agree with me. If not, tell me and we'll do something else. But for me, this is where I get the most value, was when I get to sort of see this process. So cool. All right, cool guys. Thanks for being here, and I'm going to continue to do this. Like I said, we're going to do this at least once a month with you guys. And all you have to do is keep asking questions in the group. My goal is to have you guys in that group with something you're struggling with, having a real project, throwing it out there, and helping us shape what we do on our end so that we can help you quicker. So thanks for being here today. I hope you enjoyed the call. We will get the replay up inside as soon as humanly possible. And yeah, hope you enjoyed today. I will talk with you really, really soon.